going on, Wolfpack Nation? Thank you so much again for tuning back in here for part 2 of our interview with former NC State running back Tremayne Stephens. So, again, if you haven't checked out part 1 yet, make sure to go check that out. Again, we talk a lot about his company with ADS, talk about player development, talk about recruiting, and even Torrey Holt a little bit as well. So make sure, again, if you haven't checked that out, make sure to go check it out. But also, to make sure, again, if you haven't already, make sure, once again, hit that subscribe button so you're notified whenever we release new content. Give this video a like to really help us out, and also to give us a follow at Tuffy Talk Now. But jumping right back into it, Tremayne. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is, I still remember this to this day. I know we were talking a little bit before this interview, but, I still remember it was either while I was a football equipment manager or it was right after, but you would come in to the football team and spoken to the team. And basically your message from what I remember was basically that, listen, me being a former NC State football player, at the end of the day, I have invested interest in how you guys perform each week. So if you lose, I have a bad week, and if you win, I have a good week. And I love that message just because, again, it really just sells on the fact that, again, that the Wolfpack it's not a 4-year commitment, it's a lifetime commitment. Once you're in, you're in.
It is.
So it's a great message, just even to this day. I think that sometimes, players can kind of take for granted, it is a blessing to have this opportunity, but, it's a blessing at the end of the day that every single day you could say that, you wore the red and white and you represent NC State to the best of your abilities, which you definitely did. And you gave it all out, and you can always say, hey, I made an impact. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I tell them like this. That same field that y'all are sweating and bleeding on, I literally sweat and bled on that same field, right? And so it doesn't matter what time that you came through there. You always feel as though you are an invested piece in NC State because of the fact that you played there and you gave your all and you pushed yourself. And so when you see these guys out there doing the exact same thing 10, 15, 20, 25 years later, you still actually realize that I'm still so invested in my Wolfpack that when y'all play bad or when y'all don't have the best of days, I don't have a good week. My wife will tell you, if we're, and I hate to admit this, but I have this thing to where if we're down or if we're losing, I feel like it's my fault. So my wife and daughter knows I will cut the TV off because I'm thinking to myself, they know I'm watching. So if I cut it off,
personal.
That's how much. You're right. It's personal. It is a personal walk. It's like a walk with Jesus. It's a personal thing, man. It's
I don't know about that personal, but
not quite that personal because it's obviously this can't save your life. But it's definitely something to where I think that us as former players and even as Wolfpack fans, we have such a love affair with our teams because of the heartaches that NC State has been through, and when things happen, I'll be like, that's the most NC State thing that could ever happen. Like, how in the world
only state
could we be? And so only state, right? Only state. And so I wanted them to know that, guys, it's not just y'all playing. Literally, we're here too. So when y'all do well, I have a good week. When you don't, my week is crap. So come on.
Well,
that's so true.
Get it together.
Well, and it just really proves that, that I can't even wrap my head around how big of an event it will be whenever state football brings its first ACC championship in so many years. Like not only just the current team, but last year's team, the team from 5 years ago, the team from 10, 15, 20 years ago. They'll all be just as excited as the current team will be when they win it all. Because again, it really does start from where we came, to where we are now,
right.
And because that's why, we say, when we were talking about NC State quarterbacks, that even a guy like Jacoby Brissett, who maybe, won't necessarily be in the record books or anything like that. But then he took a chance when Doran offered him to, basically come join him at NC State and build the program from the bottom and build it back up again. And, he didn't have the most wins or the most passes, but he made an impact. He made a difference. The same thing with, with like guys like Bradley Chubb, same thing with, every single guy that came is as a part of this program, so that's why, again, this is way biased, but it's hard to believe that there's going to be any team that would be more excited about winning a conference championship than we will be whenever we win one. There's just no way anybody can be more excited.
Many fans in the stands with tears in their eyes.
Really. Listen, I went to our state versus that other
team that shall not be named.
Team. Yeah. And right, exactly. It's not to be named. And I saw tears in the eyes of people then with us being down by 9 with less.
Yeah.
And by the way, there was a stat that said, I can't remember how many teams it was. Y'all might know, but it was like there were like 460 something games where like teams were down by 9 with less than 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many teams won?
Just one.
Yep.
Us, just one.
Yeah.
So I saw. So if that brought so much joy, and again, you take a team like Alabama and their fans are mad if they lose a championship or if they lose a game.
You made it to the playoffs. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like y'all are just pompous pricks. That's just. But like, we are. This is the team that does that. They're gonna have some people who are gonna literally. You're right. Have tears in their eyes, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be one of them.
Lane was one of the guys with tears in his eyes at the Carolina game you're talking about.
Oh, I was
Clemson game too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, no, literally, like
Clemson game too.
Like literally, like once I finished it, because it's on YouTube. Once I finished my reaction, where I was screaming, I was so excited. First of all, that we won, but also that we were storming the field. I mean, I just lost it. I mean, because mainly for two things. First of all, I mean, again, that was such a huge win for the Doran era. But second of all, because really it just meant so much to me to see the guys buy in and put their arms around Chris Sutton and say, "Listen, Chris, this game is not going to come down to you. This game is going to be on us."
Right.
And so that just like because I have a personal interest as well, because I mean I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into helping the team. And I mean, let me tell you, tons of, like, hundreds of, if not thousands of, definitely thousands of hours of work and man hours, exactly. Right. So I mean, to see, where this program has come, where literally like these guys are so close, and these guys are winners now. Like, they know what it takes to win. They know that they have to have each other's backs. Like, that just like that game showed me that this program is 1,000,000% heading in the right direction. Like, when have you seen that? Like, that was just an unbelievable win. And so I mean, I just, I lost it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, but anyway,
as you should.
Yeah, sure. So, but Tremayne, one thing's that obviously, again, I mean, right now, I would say is one of the best times in terms of being an NC State football fan that we've had at quite some time. Not necessarily saying that we shouldn't be more proud or more excited at any one time, but just that it's obvious that from what we saw last year, where that this program again is heading in the up and up direction, but also too with seeing that so many players like the Tanner Ingles, the Peyton Wilsons, the Devin Carters, Thayer Thomases, like it's obvious that they're buying in that they came here to win a UCC championship, and that's it.
Right.
And so that obviously all eyes are to next season saying this is going to be the year. So, I mean, how excited are you really? Kind of what were your thoughts during the offseason as you were seeing all of these guys commit when they could have easily, considered, going ahead and going to the NFL?
You say commit, you mean like they basically
money,
made a statement saying they're coming back, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, we are in the era of this transfer portal and stuff like that, to where guys are literally jumping ship. I look at Caleb Williams, he took the Oklahoma team, and won all these games. and is in the transfer portal and is now going to USC. I'm like, dude, you could have been a legend. You know, you see these guys and what they're doing and how easy and how and how it's just so easy to go from one team to another, or for a guy to say, you know what, man, I have had fun here. I have enjoyed my time. I have an extra year, but I'm gonna go ahead to the league, man, and make this money. It says a lot about a couple of things. It says a lot about Coach Dave Doran.
Yeah.
And trust me, 5-6 years ago, people were like,
we're out.
"Oh, we need to." We're out. Yeah, like he needs to be.
Oh yeah.
You know.
You mean him getting? Yeah.
Everybody who I've trained who has gone to state, they love Dave Doran, and I know he might not have like the best outside personality when he's speaking, but these guys realize that he is invested in them. Like he's
a player's coach.
He's a player's coach,
Mm-hmm.
and not in that rah-rah, like he's a player's coach in that, listen, I'm going to maybe say the minimum when I'm out here doing these things for, you know, for the Wolfpack Club here and Wolfpack Club there. But when it comes down to you guys and what we're going to do here, I'm invested. You're invested. I need you. You need me. Let's get it. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And to me, man, that means a lot to me that these guys thought enough to say, you know what? I could very well transfer. I could very well go into the league. I could get hurt next year. I might not have a good year. My stock might drop. Like there's no guarantees, right? No. But I'm willing to take that chance to invest one more year to see if we can make this thing happen, man. And I think that's the reason why fans like myself and like you guys are so excited, is because we see the investment and we know that there's gonna be some good things that happen. I'm not even into like the NC State normal thing where it's like, don't give us any credit.
These preseason top 10 ratings. I was like, no, don't even show that to me.
Right. Yeah. I don't do that. But you know, now we have established a new culture to where I'm not afraid of that anymore.
Amen.
Like the top 10, I'm like, you know what?
Why not us? Why not us,
bro? Like we can do this. Why not? So, you know, I'm now 5-6 years. I'm like, no, don't top 10. No, we're gonna finish.
Yeah, I jokingly, it's like we see these rankings now. You watch it blow us week 1 against ECU. Joking, but hey, but I mean, you say, we talk about this not to get too prolong this point, but I've had this conversation with my dad before. I'm like, there are some coaches that just really fit the school. Like I thought Ed Orgeron was like. He fit LSU, man. I really thought that. I think Nick Saban fits Alabama, but Dave Doran, he fits State. Like he's just like a fans coach. Like he doesn't. He seems like he's one of y'all.
And he's a country boy at heart.
Yeah, he's one of us. He's a guy fishing hard. He made that quote: "Hard working, hand in the dirt school, made by blue collar." I mean, like. He just gets it from a culture standpoint.
And you said also that, he may not be the best at speaking outside, but like, I think he just kind of speaks his mind, and that I think that's benefited him too. That's
he's
what
honest.
Fans like that he's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Listen, when he said, what did he say about the NCAA?
No clue at all.
No clue at all.
Everybody across the country agreed with that.
That was just. Everybody was like,
genius.
You know what? This guy,
That's right.
he's got it. But when you look in the stands and when you see the people who were there to support the Wolfpack, it's not the hotty-totty, high and mighty like crowd. This is, and I don't want to say this in a way that's going to sound, but this is the everyday. Average, working, hard American that's, that is family driven, that, loves their football, loves their school. But there's no pretenses. There's no finger in the air. There's none of that. Like this is a hard working, agricultural, hand in the dirt, build it from the ground up. If you sow, you shall reap type of school, and I believe he's that.
Man.
Amen.
Yeah,
and that's what he doesn't have to be a guy who comes to my Wolfpack Club and gives me rah speech.
Yeah.
I don't want to win the press conference. I want to
realize
win on the
what he's doing for our program.
Yeah.
I want to win on the field, right? So if you win to me at this presser and then go out and lose, 18 to 47, I would much rather have it right.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, so I mean, he just.
I think it's good.
I think he really fits the culture very well. I guess great, and you meant I don't know. I could go on about that, but I'm really thankful to have. I'm kind of curious about shifting gears here a little bit, and you can relate, and you can kind of shut me up here if it's not the right train of thought. But I am kind of curious, more specific, like because I know you're a running back, and I know you've been around the state recently too. Like, one, what are your thoughts about Bam and Ricky heading out?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, what are your thoughts about the guys we caught coming in next year? Because I can think of one guy in particular. This guy, you just see. I haven't heard as much hype about this guy, Demi Sumo. Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen the guy. I'm sure you maybe have. But okay. But like Jordan Houston coming in, everybody knows it's his time. What are your thoughts about those two guys leaving? That what they've meant for state and what we got coming back? Because I think it's probably the biggest question mark. You've seen some articles float around running backs, probably the big in the running game in general. Losing Icky on the left tackle, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightland's Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flightland's Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flightland's Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flightlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Listen, I can be selfish all day long, and I can say that I would love for those guys to come back. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to a personal preference of those guys actually sitting down with their families, with actually Coach Doran, and saying, hey, you have been an ambassador for our school, haven't gotten into any trouble. You
did it right.
You have been just great guys. At some point in time, you have to be a little bit selfish and say, you know what, man, I feel as though I've done everything that I can do here. I really want to go on and see if I can take care of my family. Mm-hmm. And I have absolutely no qualms about that at all. I see these guys, from another selfish standpoint, they are getting kind of close to my third place ranking, so I was kind of happy to see them go as well.
Easy now. Don't do too good.
Don't do too well now.
I love you not that much.
I know, right? I need you to come by the yard short if you don't mind. But these guys, they got to do what's, when it comes down to it, is in the best interest for them. And I think that the reason why they can go and the reason why they can leave and go and do the things that is because we have a good stable of guys that are here. We got a class that is coming in that is amazing in the two guys that you mentioned. It's going to take what would we obviously much rather have Bam and Ricky, guys who are truly experienced and have, been at the highest level and played in those games. Of course we would, But there's nothing like the unbridled type of an enthusiasm of these young guys who are coming in and they're trying to prove themselves to not only Ricky and the Bam, but to the Wolfpack fans as well. And I'm telling you, those guys can be as hungry, if not hungrier, than the guys that are already there.
Yeah.
So, I don't see it. I don't see it really being a big thing. Where it may come down is, those times when we need that really solid yard that we got to get. I mean, who don't want to who don't want to actually turn around and just hand the ball off to Bam? That's a yard waiting to happen right now. But it's just it's one of those things where I think guys will make it happen. And again, the culture has been established, so guys.
Jordan Houston said he was like, I mentioned being hungry. He said, my goal is to get 1,000 yards, just like the other guys have kind of seen the past. And Jordan Houston's like a really I mean, he's a really good running back. Everybody thought he could be starting for some team somewhere else. It's kind of a scat back kind of thing. But you mentioned other guys like I've said Demi Sumo. Again, it's a guy I've heard, the team preseason, during the season, now postseason, no matter what side of the ball, no matter if it's staff, they had hyped up this guy. So maybe he's a guy, but there's Delbert Mims. He's another guy who's more of like a Haas kind of running back. I'm going to just plow you over. He showed looked good in the spring game
more of a
last year. I'm excited about it. I was just curious from your perspective, being running back, what your thoughts were. But that's cool to see that. And I think with Ricky and Bam, it's like, shoot, I mean, I would like to have him back, but we get it. It's all good.
Right. But like we understand, man. Like it's when guys come here, every single guy who goes D1 and stuff like that, they are literally thinking, I'm trying, like, yes, I want to play well, but in the grand scheme of things, our overall goal is to try to get to those 3 letters.
Yeah.
Our overall goal is try to make it to the NFL. And so, if you have that chance, again, barring injury and all that stuff, you got to go with it. And those guys are hot right now. Like they are actually coming off of a 10-win season, a team that played a lot of games on TV. These GMs are, actually watching these games. State is a good team. You're kind of in the talk and stuff like that. So
especially at the running back position, which, is probably on the shorter end of careers NFL wise.
Really is.
You got to make the most of your opportunity when it comes.
Yeah.
The shortest. And literally you need to get in there. They look at hits that you take as well. So I don't think that a lot of fans kind of realize this. It's like I was talking to my brother who actually played football up in the Citadel, and I was like, really, the best route to take is, to redshirt, and then your next year to learn up under a good back, and then have like a really good season, and then just be out. Like that's because the league says, okay, if you're a back that's been there for about 4 years, okay, you've taken 200 carries a season or more. That's 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that's 800 carries that
your body wears down.
Taken, and now when you get to us, that's
what maybe Jordan Houston could be like. Because you think about it, Jordan Houston has not played a ton of snaps, but he could be the guy this year, and everybody seems like he could. I don't know. I'm getting too in the weeds there too, but it's just that's an interesting thought. That's a great point you made.
Well, because
fresh and hungry, bro.
Because one guy that I'm sure you probably know this name as well is Bryce Love. I think he's a perfect example of where, like the player that everybody wants them to be, like meaning like all committed. It unfortunately hurt him where basically, I mean, his junior year at Stanford, he had a career year and was a, Heisman finalist
2,000 yards.
And was unreal. And he could have gone to the NFL, probably been, a second and third round draft pick at least. And he decided to stay at Stanford, and then you definitely pretty much just never heard his name again.
Never.
And it's like
I don't even know if he made it.
I think he got picked up by the Redskins at the time, and I think
the
that
Redskins.
Was it. Yeah,
and he played. And it was a little bit, but then it just kind of fizzled off.
Now the Commanders.
It's so Commanders. So it's like it's. That's kind of the opposite side of the coin where it's like, maybe unfortunately he should have been more committed. But at the end of the day, again, these decisions are so tough. And because one of the things I want to kind of touch on as well is one of the things I love about Jordan Houston, I love about Trent Penix is those are two guys that I easily could have seen
I didn't even say Trent Penix,
a year or two ago. Them saying, listen, I'm not really getting a lot of playing time. I don't really see where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go elsewhere. But instead they understood their role. They trusted the coaching staff. They learned, they developed, and look where they are now. I mean, and they both have huge opportunities this season. And, because I've always wanted to kind of talk to you about this, Tremayne, because you're the guy that speaks and talks to these guys on a normal basis. But I mean, I will be honest with you saying that with the transfer portal the way it is, and with NIL the way it is right now, it puts so much pressure on these 18 to 24-year-old young adults that they can make a decision that can not only change their career, but their life in general. I mean, like they're
Right.
huge decisions, that can make or break. It's, it may not be looked at much right now, but I truly do think like down the road, I mean, honestly, it's a lot of pressure, even though the kids may not look at it at the time.
It is. It's a lot of pressure, and I think that it's like just as much pressure on these coaches as well, because you have this guy who is 18, 19 years old, and basically you're trying to keep them happy.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to keep, because now it's a different athlete, and I hate to bring up my old school ways, but it's just, things are like guys can play all doggone 12 games and play sparingly, and then be like, you know what, I don't really like it here. I'm going to transfer and just be out and have had a good season. It puts a lot of pressure on coaches to almost kind of like keep kids happy so that they can stay in their program, and then try to get kids deals and this, that, and the third. And that's why, I just really think a lot of the program that we have, you don't hear of a lot of guys going to the portal. Like you don't hear of a lot of guys wanting to leave state, because I just feel again, we talk about the culture of this program. This is a different era. It's a different day and age. And it's a time when, the portal is being used at a truly unbelievable rate. And if you're not able to like maintain a relationship with guys to let them know that you are truly invested in them, they'll leave and they won't have a second thought about it. And it hurts your program. You can bring in other guys, but there is nothing like being in the trenches with a guy that you've known 2, 3, 4 years, and you look over and say, listen, we've been in the same 6 a.m. workouts. We've done the same spring ball for the last 3 seasons. I know what you got. You know what I got. Like, let's go make this thing happen. We need this one play. Let's make it happen, as opposed to this kid who might have come to the transfer portal and you're like, I really don't even know who you are. So let's try to make this.
There's definitely something to that.
That's what I think kind of
who the heck are you?
makes state special is that right? Who are you? You came from where? UCLA. Come on, man, y'all are. I got a joke there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, man, it's a different era, and these guys are having to, make, as you said, life-changing choices at 18. Like, I don't know what y'all were doing when you were 18 years old, but I know that I didn't have the mental makeup to make like choices like,
no,
man, over here I have a chance to make $1 million. Like now, like that would have blown my mind. Like I would have definitely screwed that up. for sure. So, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of wrapping up to, obviously, again, do want to kind of make sure we touch a little bit here on this upcoming season here, because obviously, again, it's an exciting one that I know all of us are looking forward to. But so, what are your kind of overall expectations for this coming year? I mean, obviously, AC title, I think, is the easiest expectation, because that's really what this is all leading up to. But what do you kind of have your bar at per se? Like, I mean, do you kind of put your bar as like a certain win total, or like beating certain opponents, or is it just simply when they see championship, that's my bar? Like, what kind of bar do you set for this team next year?
I mean, listen, for what these guys have done and who we have that is coming back and what we have established, I expect to win every Saturday.
Yep.
And that's my bar. Like that, my
go 15-0.
My bar is, is a win every Saturday. Now, with that being said, obviously I realize that there's levels to this, as Jay-Z said, right? Like there are levels to this thing. You can't just go from this 10-win season to a national championship. You can, but normally there are levels to this thing. I would really love to see us playing in Charlotte.
Yep.
Next year and winning an ACC title, and then from there getting into a major bowl, and then who knows, man? Who knows what could possibly happen? But
Duke Oregon work some strings. on the playoff committee.
You, man, things work in a strange way, and I guess the good thing about this season is that the previous seasons kind of ranked towards the bottom, whereas in this season you're starting off ranked pretty good. Mm-hmm. So as you win and possibly other teams lose, your chances of getting up there are a lot greater than if you start off in maybe 23rd and then got to make your way up to the 17s and 15s. So, I just expect us to compete.
Yep.
I expect us to give the NC State effort every single play. And then I expect us to win every single game.
So you,
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And have you gotten a chance to look at the schedule? I'm curious. Okay.
I have.
What are your thoughts about that? Because to me, when I look at it, I kind of like the way it's set up.
I do.
I'm not really. Maybe it's not in front of you for disclaimer. It's not in front of you, but I'm just curious what your thoughts were.
Right. The couple games that I see as trap games, are ones that I think that as long as we stay focused, as long as we stay committed, we can win them. Obviously, going to Death Valley
Clemson,
is going to be tough. Obviously, it's hard to win there.
Yeah.
They always have a hard time winning in Raleigh. We normally have a hard time winning in Clemson. And then, of course, I don't know what Pitt's going to do. I don't know. Obviously, they lost Pickett, so I don't know who they're going to pick up. Obviously, Wake Forest is going to always be a tough go. Matter of fact, I don't know.
Wake Forest basically they're bringing a lot of guys back next season too, and we do get them at home. But you mentioned trap games. I think a litmus test that I would say is that ECU game 1 on the road. They're gonna film me their Super Bowl for us. And then
it is.
There's a few games at the end that are gonna be tough, but I think the way it kind of sets up as well, you get Clemson earlier. It's your first ACC game. You got Clemson early last year, and you won against them. I don't know. I like it. I think it's not a lot of we had a stretch this past season where it was 4 out of 5 games were on the road. We don't have that this season.
Yeah, don't have
pretty
that
balance for the most part.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. Like I said, just curious. It's and I think, but in April we got the spring game. You going to be there? Okay,
I am going to be
cool.
There. I am. As a matter of fact, that is always normally about the time of my birthday. My birthday is April 16th, so we try our best to get there for the spring game. So we're definitely going to try to get there. My wife, my daughter, and I, and that's when my daughter gets a chance because she hears it from me that her dad was good, but that's when she realizes that maybe her dad was good because all of my teammates go, "Hey, now he was a good one." I'll tell you this. And so she goes, "Oh, okay." So it's not just dad saying that. Now it's
that's
legit.
Other
people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carries more weight than
dad,
right?
Absolutely, Tremayne. Well, again, first of all, I want to say thanks again so much for your time. It really was a pleasure having you on. And again, definitely look, we'll definitely reach out to you again here in the near future, talk some more NC State football, right? So,
let's go.
But again, just like Megan said, looking forward to seeing you at the spring game, and definitely look forward to running into you, as we go towards going 15-0 this coming season, right? So that's the goal.
Man, let's go, man. And listen, every time that a game gets close, don't worry, NC State. I'm gonna turn it off.
Good.
I'll turn it back.
We can count you, man.
It's all good. You don't have to. You don't have to worry about me.
He's gonna do his part.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Tremayne, and again, make sure Wolfpack Nation as well to go give Tremayne a follow. Make sure to check out all that he's doing, all the lives that he's touching with his company ADS, and also too. I mean, hey, if you have any kids, and Tremayne, I'll kind of let you do like a little shameless plug right here. I mean, for any of our viewers that want to check you out, or have kids that are interested in getting quicker, faster, stronger.
Listen, man, this is what I do now, man. I get a chance to work with really athletes of, really all sports, football, soccer, baseball, tennis, whatever it is for your child. And I get a chance to help kids to get faster, quicker, and stronger in the Charlotte to the Gastonia area, up in Shelby, into Rock Hill, South Carolina, really from all over the place. If you get a chance, please just actually check out my website. It is www.stevenspeed.com. And it'll kind of tell you all of the programs.
I think we'll probably put a link in our thing so they can get to it easier too.
Yeah, we'll do that as well. We'll put a link in the description.
Okay. All right.
So thank you all. Go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead, Tremayne.
And to very, 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 very quickly.
Go ahead.
Wolfpack fans, I don't think that you realize what you mean to the players, to the former players, to the current players. We appreciate everything you do, all the energy that you give on Saturdays. We love you guys.
That's awesome. Thanks, Tremayne, for that. That's awesome. So thank you all as well, listeners, Wolfpack Nation, for tuning in with us for this awesome and fun interview. Hope that you all enjoyed it. Make sure once again, if you haven't already, make sure hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, as well on Twitter and Instagram. But thank you all so much again for tuning in. And hey, as always, go Pack, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.
Back.